Hey.
There. Do you want to ask questions, or you just want me to just kind of?
Yeah, you can just talk and.
So for roller derby, people typically come in for a variety of skates. Typically a speed style skate. They're shorter in the cuff versus the artistic skates. And then they'll look for specific wheels depending on the floor surface they're using. If it's a sport court or concrete, those tend to be more slippery, so they'll do softer durometer wheels. And if it's a classic wood floor, they'll use a harder durometer in the wheels. Premium bearings are always a plus. The better bearing you get, the better tensile steel is used, so they don't corrode as much. The end result is they're more efficient, so you get better glide, easier to maintain speed. In pads, there are sometimes two users. You've got jammers, who are the ones scoring the points, and they sometimes like a little bit more of a streamlined knee pad. So you might see something kind of like this example with a pretty modest amount of padding. Most of the blockers and some jammers prefer a knee pad that's got almost double the thickness in padding. So you get, a solid 2+ inches of padding, and they do a lot of stops and just adds a lot more protection. But for the jammers, that can kind of interfere with crossover skating with that big bulky knee, and that's why they sometimes like something that's a little bit more streamlined. Everybody likes an elbow. This is a pretty modest, elbow pad. You don't fall on the elbows too much, so something that's a little bit more comfortable is what people tend to use. Wrist guards are kind of the classic skateboard style wrist. We do sell a derby specific wrist, which has a little bit larger pad on the bottom side that a company 888 makes. Another thing that people like to do with the knees they're called knee gaskets, and it's basically kind of a standard knee brace, but that adds a little bit of protection on either side of the kneecap, and where underneath your knee pad for a little bit better fit of the knee pad, a little added comfort, and a little less likely that your knee pads slide around when you do fall or do those types of stops. Another item that a lot of the derby girls come in for just standard maintenance would be a little bearing cleaner kit, and you'll use this with an isopropyl alcohol to just keep in here. You'll soak the bearings, pull the bearings out, let them air dry, or use like compressed air to kind of blow any remaining dirt out, and then you'd use lithium-based oil or grease to repack or re-oil. The oil is always faster, but maintenance schedule's a little bit more often. And then skates. I don't know if you want to throw a skate up.
Yeah, sure.
Talk about the basic parts. So you've got your basic boot, which again in that speed skate's the lower cut boot. And those come in a variety of price ranges. You can start with a complete skate from about $120 and up is kind of where most people start. Some people you could go below, but skates can go clear up into the $800 to $900 range and beyond. What changes when you spend that? A lot in the boot. Boots get stiffer. You can get boots that are heat moldable. Very similar to what speed skaters on ice would use. That's kind of what some of the more competitive boots will be similar to. The plate, which is what holds the bearings and wheels, as you spend more money, those become lighter and more responsive materials. So if it is a composite plate, there's going to be a higher percentage of glass versus nylon, or you'll get maybe a billet aluminum plate with trucks. Wheels again are a big component of the skate. Different diameters, different performance levels, different widths and sizes. Many of the jammers use a 59 millimeter wheel, and a lot of the blockers tend to use a 62 millimeter wheel. And then wheels also come in a wide width or a narrow or slim. Slims are a little less rolling resistance and a little faster turning. Smaller wheels, less glide but quicker acceleration, and they do speed up your turning as well. And then the last kind of item that people tend to do is on the toe stop. Probably the most popular selling toe stop in Derby are these gumball toe straps, and it's a kind of a natural urethane, and it tends to work pretty well on any floor surface, adjustable height, and that's by far our best selling toe stops. There are others available, but it seems like for Derby users that gumball toe stop is kind of the go-to component. You can add, for a lot of the abrasion that the skates get, there are toe guards. People will dress up their skates with different color axle nuts and things like that. And then the last thing, which is actually a local Ann Arbor company, are the mouth guards, and those are actually really nice. They're not the big bulky mouth guard that a lot of people are used to.
Right.
You can have a normal conversation, drink from your water bottle, and they're really easy to mold from. Is there anything I left out? Or?
Oh. Let's see. So what exactly makes derby gear different from other types of skate gear?
Well, the skates themselves are no different than a speed skate. And in classic quad skating, speed skating is just what it sounds like, the skate that you could get around the track the fastest in. It's different than an artistic skate. And then an artistic skate, the boot looks more like a figure skating boot. It's that tall ice skate boot.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's the exact same. For instance, Rydell makes Rydell ice skates and Rydell roller skates. The boots are the same, artistic or figure skating, and they do Rydell ice speed skates and Rydell speed skates that people use in derby. And really, those boots are pretty much the same as well. So there's no difference there. Just it's a speed skate boot, that lower cut. You get a little more freedom in the ankle and kind of lets you get down and be faster and more maneuverable. Wheels, again, have just become a little bit more specialized to get more grip to add to speed. Pad wise, it's just kind of what's become, people are looking for, really borrowing from skateboarding and what would be used on vert skating. So what people use pretty heavy amounts of pads, so like half pipes, guys like Tony Hawk and that type of stuff.
Right.
They're wearing similar pads in derby skating. Same helmets and stuff as well.
Cool. And what's the best for beginner equipment in regards to all of this?
Pads are obviously important because you're going to fall probably more often. So most people will go there. If you know that you're going to enjoy the sport, you're a fan of it, and it's not a question of whether it's something you're going to stick with, there's really no sense in getting a lower end skate because you're just going to buy twice. Typically our best selling entry level skate with a good set of wheels comes in right around $200, and that, if you went and bought the less expensive skate, you'd not only get a lower quality boot and plate, which holds the wheels, but you also get a lower quality wheel set and bearing. So it's going to cost you over $100 just to replace the wheels and bearings, and you'll still be left with a lower quality boot and plate. So if you just spend $200, you at least get the better quality boot, plate, bearing, and wheel. So that's a good place to start. But if you know it's something you're really going to be a fan, you may be interested to come more into a mid-price level, which is usually like $450 to $500. You can start to get, there's a company called Antic, and you can start to get heat moldable boots, and that makes the boot more comfortable more quickly for you while giving you better performance.
Cool.
So
Awesome. Thank you so much.
no problem.